I'm Dave Prouse with the tech question of the day, and you can see here we have an Xbox One S that I'm installing for an associate of mine, and I kind of wish I had one of these myself. This is a two-part question, and so here we go. The first part of the question is this. We have an HDMI out here that goes to the TV. The question is, in order to output 4K video, what type of HDMI cable do we need? And the second part of the question, which one of these ports is an optical port? So two-part question. The first one, we have our HDMI out to the TV here. What type of HDMI cable do we need to output 4K video? And the second part, which one of these is considered to be an optical connection? An optical connection. And I'll give you a moment to pause the video, and I'll be back with the answer in just a bit. Okay, and we're back with our Xbox. Two-part question. Here's the answers. To output 4K video from here, we need what's known as a high-speed HDMI cable, one that complies with the HDMI 2.0 specification. And you can see here that this Xbox comes with one of these cables, and it does say on it HDMI high speed, if you can read that. So it comes with one. And the second part of the question, which one of these ports is an optical port? And the answer to that is the SPDIF port, the SPDIF port. That's an optical port used often for audio connections. And I use those on computers and other multimedia devices. So those are the answers. And good luck to all of you who are checking me out on Facebook and putting the answers in and looking to get something from the giveaway. Good luck to you. And so let's go through the rest of the ports. Here we have the main power port, of course, for your power connection. This is the HDMI out that goes to the TV, and they also give you an HDMI in, which you don't necessarily have to use. If your TV has multiple HDMI inputs, you could just use this. But if you've run out of HDMI inputs, or you want to use your satellite or cable connection in conjunction with the Xbox, then they give you that. So that's a nice feature. So you'd have, say, your RG6 line coming into your cable connection, your if you might have a set-top box or whatever, then that would go out via HDMI instead of to your TV. That would go here, and then this would plug into the TV directly. And also, of course, to take advantage of the 4K output, you have to have a TV that can accept 4K, that can display 4K. We also have two USB ports. These are 3.0 ports, super speed, and there's one on the front as well. This is one of those times where they're not shown as blue, but they are 3.0 ports. Here's an IR out. That's the infrared out. Now, that's an output that you use for an emitter. So if you need this to send information to other devices like the old school Kinect, which they don't include on here anymore, or if you're connecting out to home theater equipment, that's an emitter connection. But what you need to do is you need to attach an IR blaster. It's a 3.5 millimeter port. So it's a little cable, a little adapter that you use that goes from here, and then on the other end, it has that IR blaster, that infrared connector. That infrared eye, I should say. And so, again, that's a 3.5 millimeter port, but meant only for infrared and only for emitting, not for receiving. And so here's the SPDIF, SPDIF. That's the optical port, which we normally use for audio. And I do in some cases with some of my equipment and some connections. It's a nice feature. You might have a play bar, or you might have other types of speakers or something with your home theater, and you want to use that. Solid digital connection. Here we have a gigabit port for connecting to the LAN for Ethernet, and you definitely want that. You definitely want to connect that guy up. So this guy could be part of the network, and you can download games, right? Without that, you're in trouble. And then here we have a security port. So you can secure this guy to whatever you want, and you'd have to get an extra add-on for that, the security cable, but that's a nice feature as well. So these are the ports here. Now, you might get a position as a tech working with a company like Geek Squad or a company like that. Lots of companies out there where you might be doing this kind of work on your own. So you need to know all these ports. You need to know the ports, what they do, what type of cables you need to connect, and all that. So very important. Even though this is a very playful device, it's still a technical piece of equipment that you may be called upon to install. So it's good to know all these ports. So that's it for the tech question, a double question. Tech question of the day. I'm Dave Prowse. If you have any questions for me or comments, feel free to contact me at my website, davidlprowse.com.